Hi guys, this is Alicia from Lagos. I'm really sorry that this is the only way we can check on each other. I really hope that we can meet in person real soon. And the reason I'm right here is to go over your second quarter review paper with me, okay? Are you guys ready? Let's go. Alright, hi guys. So we are going to go over the first section, which was choosing the correct answer between true and false, right? And since it is about true and false, it wasn't that hard, I guess. Let's go over with the first one. A blizzard can cause big ocean waves. So in order to get the correct answer of this, you need to know the meaning of this word first. Blizzard, this is kind of a storm that contains a lot of snow, okay? So snowstorm can cause big ocean waves? I don't think so, so it goes for false. And you can find many kinds of information on the web. The web is the internet, so which is very true. And 3, a victim is someone who helps people after a big storm. So victim is the opposite. So victim is not the helper, but the person who needs the help, right? So it goes false again. And number 4, when something collapses is breaking down, right? So it doesn't get any bigger. So the answer is going to be false. The false again. And the 5th one, a tropical rainforest has many kinds of plants. And we learned what the tropical rainforest earlier in the class, right? So we know that there are many kinds of plants in here, so it's going to be true again, okay? And next section is about completing the sentence with using the given phrases. So the first one, it says, when I play basketball, I wear my sneakers. The sneakers is the comfortable shoes, so yes, we wear them when we play sports, right? And number 2, if Betty can sleep, she drinks a glass of milk. I don't have anyone who drinks a glass of milk when they can sleep, but Betty does. And number 3, when we ride our bikes, we always wear helmets. Yes, for our safety, we must wear helmets whenever we ride a bike or motorcycles even. And number 4, Dan doesn't drink coffee if it's after 7 o'clock at night. I know that a lot of people are struggling to sleep when they drink coffee in the evening. And number 5, they ask their teacher questions when they don't understand something. Alright? Okay, this section is about choosing either it is may or may not, or might or might not, okay? And the meaning of may or might is about the possibility and the permissions. So let's keep that in our minds and let's go over them together. The first one, it's very cloudy. It may rain tonight. And number 2, I might not go to school today because I'm not feeling well, right? So the first one and second one are talking about the possibility of using might or may. And number 3, the blue car is very old. I may need to get a new car soon. Good. And number 4, Pete isn't at all tired. He's not tired at all, which means he's not tired, 0%, okay? He might not go to bed soon because he's not tired, literally. And number 5, the wind isn't blowing hard now. They may go sailing this afternoon. And number 6, there aren't many polar bears left in the world. They might be extinct soon. What's the word of extinct? Yes, disappearing in the world for good, right? Okay. So, this one is about writing some words to complete the sentences about this story. And in order to do that, we have to read this first. So my name is Bill and he's the painter, and it can be a difficult job when the weather's bad, but he still likes it. Yesterday he went to paint a house for a woman called Mrs. Hill, but when I got to the house there was no one in. I decided to start painting because it was a big house and I had just 2 days to finish it, okay? So to finish his task, he had only 2 days, okay? At about midday, I stopped for lunch and went to a cafe around the corner. I asked for burger and chips. That's my favorite meal. But there were no burgers, so I had fish and chips instead. He wanted to eat the burger and chips, but there was no burgers, so he instead picked fish. Well, I was eating my food when a woman phoned me, so she called him, right? Where are you? And I answered, I'm having my lunch. I was surprised because she was very unfriendly. She was not nice. And she didn't say she liked my painting. At 2 o'clock, I went back to the house, but there was still no one there. Then I saw a woman in the garden of the house next door. She looked very angry. So I said, "What's matter?" Her answer made me terrible. Let's see why, okay? She said, I'm waiting for a man to paint my house, and so it says, he said he'll come this morning, but he hasn't arrived yet. And he asked her, what's your name? And Mrs. Hill, she said. I was painting the wrong house. That was the problem, right? And I picked up my paint and brushes and ran away. So he realized that he painted the wrong house, right? How interesting. This is kind of funny story, isn't it? Alright, so let's go over the questions that comes after this, okay? So the first question, when Bill arrived at the house, there was no one at home, okay? And Bill wanted to start work because there were only 2 days left. Only 2 days left to do the job. And Bill ate fish and chips. He wanted to eat burgers and chips, but they didn't have the burgers, remember? So he chose the fish instead. And Bill thought that the woman sounded very unfriendly, very not nice. And Bill felt terrible when the woman in the garden answered his questions. That's because he was painting the wrong house. That's why, right? And next one, the woman was waiting for someone to paint her house because that man hasn't arrived at her house yet. But it turned out that the Bill went to the wrong house, so the things got complicated, right? And Bill suddenly understood that he was painting the wrong house. Okay? This will be the answers for each question, guys. Hi, we are going to go over this section that is pretty much same thing as the previous one. We are going to fill in the blanks to complete each sentence. So the first one, robots can do many things to help us with our work. We cannot put there, that's because robots are helping us, not themselves. And they do all kinds of boring jobs, and in some factories, they can put switch carefully into the boxes, and in other factories, they make cars with no help at all, right? The reason we cannot put every here is because this is the plural noun, and every should be used with the singular noun, so we have to use other. We also use robots to help us understand more about science. And robots have been, the present perfect tense, to the moon to get rocks for us to study, and they also visit other planets where people can't go. Plant, it's not plants, it's planet. Planet is the place, right? So we gotta use the where. It's not what or why, because we're not looking for the reason or we're not looking for the object here, okay? An android is a robot which looks like a person. Asmo is the name of one android robot. It can't feel happy or sad. Of course, they can't feel the emotions, but it can walk, sit down, and stand up. It climbs up and down stairs too. But can it think? Well, yes, but only if other people give it information first. But if we input the information into the robot, maybe they can think within the given information, but they cannot create something new, right? It can cook or clean or do your homework for you. Not yet, but one day that might happen. Alright, so the overall answers is going to be this one. Our, other, to, have, where, of, but, if, do, and might. Okay guys, good job. Alright, and the reading section is finished. Now we're going to move on to the grammar section. And luckily the first section was pretty easy, right? So we are going to combine given two sentences with using when. And here are the answers, and you can check the answers yourself, okay? You may pause a little bit, and then please make sure that your written answers are all correct, just like those on this screen, okay? Now we are going to go over some pronouns, and there are some friends, any friends, and no friends, right? And we use them for someone, so people and things and places. Good. And if we are using body, then that refers to people. If we are using thing, that refers to the objects, the things. And if we are using the where, then that refers to the places. And the point is, for the anyone, the anybody, anything, and anywhere, those three friends, any friends, they are being used in usually question sentences and negative sentences, if you can remember them, right? You can. Okay, now let's go over these sentences, the questions. Number 1, sorry, I don't understand anything you're saying. Do you see not here? That means it is the negative sentences, right? And as I mentioned earlier, since this is the negative sentence, we are using anything. And because this thing is referring to what this person is saying. Okay, it's not a place, it's not a person, it's a thing. And are you doing something weekend? So this person is asking if I'm doing something on this weekend. And if we are asking the thing that we're gonna planning on to do, then we use something here. And number 3, John knows everything about engines. It's not something. That's because if you read the second sentence here, it says expert opinion, and as we already learned, expert meaning is something that is professional, right? That this person is a pro in these engines. So we're gonna use everything. And would you like something to eat? Good. And this person is requesting the food, right? And we're using something in here. And Alex is anything and nothing can be fit grammatically, but the meanings is going to be changed. So if we are using anything here, it means Alex is not stupid at all. But if we are using nothing in this blank, then it means Alex is only stupid. Okay? Good. And number 6, I have lost everything. That's why this person has nothing to lose, because this person has lost everything already. It's kind of sad story though. And number 7, you can sit anywhere you like. So where? Why we are using where here? That's because the place where you're going to sit is literally the place. So you're gonna use anywhere. And number 8, he won't get anywhere or anything. These two also can fit in this blank grammatically, but the meanings is gonna be slightly changed. If we say he won't get anywhere, that means we can refer it to the status at the workplace or at school, whatever. But if we are using anything, that means literally the something, okay? The thing that he wants to get. But he cannot get it without the qualification. Okay, good. Now we are going to move on next section. Alright, sorry, it was not a next section, but it's next page. So here, again, what do you see here? Alright, the not. So it's a negative sentence, so we're going to use anybody. So in this office, there was no one, right? There isn't anyone to talk to or anybody. And number 10, it's going to be, I've got something to tell you. And number 11, you have to read the sentence, the whole sentence, not just front, okay? It says go and look for them. It means the keys are somewhere in the room, right? So go and look for the keys. Okay, good. And next one was about using the polite phrases to make requests for given situations. And we've learned many phrases of polite requests as we remember. Let's go over one by one. So the first one, I put, I wonder if you could do me a favor. Remember this phrase, I wonder if you could blah blah blah. And the answers can be vary as well. And I put sure, no problem. I'm being positive, right? And next, ask someone to lend you something. And I put I would be grateful if you could blah blah blah. And the answer could be sure, I can do that. I'm also being optimistic again. And number 3, ask someone to open the window for you. And this case I'm using do you mind and gerund. Remember the gerund? Opening. So mind, verb, its partner is gerund, not the to infinitive verb, right? Good. And I put no, not at all. It means totally fine. And number 4, ask a friend to give you a lift somewhere. And then I put, is there any chance you could give me a lift? And I said, I'm sorry, but it can be vary, depends on what kind of circumstance you're under, right? Alright, and we are going to move on next page, and it's going to be continued. And again, the 5th question, ask a waiter to bring you the bill, the check, to pay the money. And I put, do you think you could bring me the bill? And the answer is another positive answer, certainly, okay? So only if you use them, the different phrases of the polite request for each one of them, then it's full points. Good job, everyone. And let's move on to the fixing the grammar ones. Foot miles is the distance that foot travel to get to us. So this underlined word is wrong, and we have to fix this to the correct form of the verb. Now how we're gonna do it? This is how we're gonna do it. I'm sorry, I'm gonna zoom in really fast. Okay, this is how we're gonna fix this. So foot miles is the distance that food is the subject, and this is the singular form. So we have to use travel. Good. Travel. Sorry about the handwriting here. Travels. That's because the food, which is the subject in the sentence, we can change it into it, right? So as you already know, it, and I'm gonna just keep writing here. It, she, and he. When we are using verbs after them, what do we put if it's present tense? Good. Either S or ES after the verb. Okay? So the answer is going to be the travels. Next one. For example, a person who lives in Japan may to buy. Remember the may? After the may, because this is the modal verb, we have to use the base form of the verb. So we cannot write the to plus verb, which is to infinitive, because to infinitive is not a verb, right? So it's gonna be may plus buy. So buy should be coming along, not to buy, okay? And next one, the Kiwi fleet has to travel 5,800 miles to get to this person. Airplanes, ships, trains, and trucks may brings this food. Look at it, this brings. It has the S. And as I already mentioned above here, we have to use the just base form, which is going to be bring, not S. We have to get rid of the S, okay? And let's keep going. This transportation uses a lot of fuel. What can cause pollution? What do we need instead of what here? Good. We need something that describes fuel, right? And it's going to be the that. Okay? Good. And when food travels, some of it needs to stay cool, which takes more energy and fuel. However, companies put chemicals on food to help it last longer while it travels. So look at it. It says some of it needs to stay cool, which takes more energy and fuel. And this passage is using however. If we are using however, it should be the opposite context should be coming, but the contents of these sentences are pretty much the same. So what kind of conjunction do we need instead of however? Good, like also one, okay? Also companies put chemicals on food to help it last longer. Okay, and it needs to stay cool, so it takes more energy and fuel, and it takes chemicals too. Okay, good. Alright, let's keep moving on to next passage. Let's read it really fast here, okay? Patrick Dougherty, this one was the artist as we remember. He combines its love. This one is wrong. Do you know why? Because he combines his love. Okay? The he and it should be the same person, but he is not a thing. He is the person, and the possessive pronoun of he is his, not it. So we're gonna use his here, okay? And then look at here. In many places of the world, I don't think so. In many places around the world, okay? These two were the wrong ones. And we're gonna move on to the next page. And the third one. So the sculptures. Haha, this is the plural noun. So plural noun's partner is not is, but what is it? Okay, I hear you. Are. Good. So this is should be changed to are. And let's keep reading it. The saplings, which was the young branches, alright, remember? And are flexible, so he can bend them into round shapes. And we need adjective in this position, right? If we are making this one to adjective to describe the shapes, what do we need to put after it? Good. We gotta make it to the past participle. So it's gonna be round. Oh, sorry. It's gonna be rounded. I'm gonna rewrite it here. Rounded. Okay? Good. And build the sculpture is a big job here. If we are using the verb in front, very front of this sentence, with the base form, for example, come here, go and find it. Let's take a look of these two sentences. This is the verb, and this is also the verb, and those two are also the base form of the verb. If we are using the verbs in the very front of the sentences, these sentences are called commanding sentences, okay? If we let this verb here this way, build the sculptures, this can be make sense, right? Build the sculpture right now. But this whole phrase should be the subject because be verb is right here, right? So we gotta make it to the subject one by using either to infinitive or the gerund. So two answers can possible. To build and building. These two are the possible answers for this. Okay? Good. Alright, next one. Getting around. This was the Unit 9 story, I guess. This was the Unit 9 story, Getting Around. So Indonesia is famous for their rickshaws. Indonesia. How can we change this to? Yes, it, right? Not they. Because there are not many Indonesians in the word. So we're going to put it. And what is the possessive pronoun of the it? Good, it. Alright? Good. And these were small, what's these here? Rickshaws. One passenger carriages that are pulled by a bicycle. Okay, one passenger carries that are pulled by a bicycle. Why is it wrong? It's plural, so the plural form of be verb is coming after. Well, why is it wrong? Because of the tense. Look at here. This is the were, right? This is the past tense. Then we have to use the past tense. So we are going to replace were, not are, okay? So why this is wrong? That's because since the rickshaws are very slow and held up the traffic, they should be banned, not banned, right? So we're gonna change it to they are banned, not banned, okay? And next one, they were, again, the tense. It is the past tense, so we're gonna use this verb into the past tense as well. So what is the past tense of the hold? Yes, held up the traffic, okay? Good. And last one will be this are. So this phrase is going to be present perfect passive tense, right? So they have, not are, what is the be verb's past participle? The PP form of the be verb is the been. Have been replaced. Okay, good. By the Jaha, which is the motorized rickshaw. And keep going on, okay? So these 5 vocabs, the words are grammatically wrong, and this is how we need to change them, okay? Good. Finally, the last section. When do we use capitalization? The first letter of a sentence, of course, and the names, including the nations, people's names, rivers' name, or even, let's see, even the pets, right? And no matter what, if we are writing the I, myself, I, then we always have to write with the capital, right? Big letter I. Do not forget those. Good. And what was the compound predicate? So the predicate is the action of a sentence. So compound meaning is all similar to the combining. So compound predicate is two or more actions that a subject does, right? And we join the actions with a conjunction, right? Such as and. Very good. The next one is the preposition phrases of location, and maybe some of you may have written down just behind the house, not the full sentence, but it is better if you put the whole complete sentence here, okay? So I wrote down some of the example sentences of phrases of location, preposition and phrases of location. The garden is behind the house. The school is near the park, okay? So this near and behind is the prepositioner, and prepositional phrase always should come along the object, and the house is going to be the object, and as well as the park. And so to be exact, what is the prepositional phrase? It tells where something is, and they should include a preposition and its object, just like I mentioned right now, okay? And the object is a noun or pronoun. Good. And this one was kind of easy question. The difference between shall and will when making offers, not just any regular normal situations, but when making offers, okay? So we are using shall when we are making an offer with a question, with the question mark, and we use will with a statement, with the period, okay? Alright. Okay, this was it for reviewing the second quarter review paper. And thank you for watching this video, and I really miss you guys. And hopefully we can meet in person in the classroom real soon, okay? Be healthy out there, and see you soon, guys. I love you all.